The first morning Maya Carter walked into St. Gabriel Medical Center, nobody looked up from their phones. She wore plain blue scrubs, carried an old canvas backpack, and smiled politely as she introduced herself. The charge nurse barely glanced at her badge before waving toward the supply room. "Roki, stock those shelves. Stay out of the trauma bays unless someone asks for help." A few nurses exchanged amused looks. One whispered, "She looks like she'd faint at the sight of blood." The others laughed quietly, and Maya simply nodded, pretending not to hear. Throughout the morning, every mistake around the emergency department somehow became her responsibility. A missing clipboard, misplaced medication records, and even cold coffee left in the staff room were blamed on the newest employee. Dr. Ethan Brooks, the youngest attending surgeon, sighed impatiently whenever Maya appeared nearby. "You're here to learn," he said, "so watch experienced people and don't try to be a hero." She answered with the same calm smile. "Yes, doctor." Nobody noticed how carefully she studied every exit, every security camera, and every reflection in the polished windows. Nobody questioned why she instinctively positioned herself where she could see the entire emergency entrance. Old habits refused to disappear. That afternoon, a black SUV rolled slowly across the hospital parking lot before disappearing. Maya's expression changed for only a second. She recognized the vehicle immediately. Her pulse remained steady, but memories surfaced like ghosts. She quietly stepped outside during her break, scanned the rooftops, and returned without saying a word. Inside the ER, the teasing continued. "So, rookie," another nurse joked, "ever treated anything worse than a scraped knee?" Maya chuckled softly. "I've handled difficult situations." "Like what? Paper cuts?" Everyone laughed again. Before she could answer, 6 ambulances screamed into the emergency entrance after a highway collision. The department exploded into organized chaos. Stretchers rolled through automatic doors. Families cried. Doctors shouted orders over ringing monitors. Maya moved instinctively. Without waiting for instructions, she stabilized an unconscious child whose airway was collapsing. She directed paramedics exactly where each patient belonged, predicting injuries before scans confirmed them. Her hands never trembled. Even Dr. Brooks paused, surprised by her confidence. "Where did you train?" he asked. She only replied, "Different places." The crisis settled after nearly an hour. Every patient survived. Some staff members exchanged confused glances. Maybe the rookie was simply lucky. They were about to discover luck had nothing to do with it. As evening covered the city, the same black SUV returned, followed by 2 motorcycles. 4 heavily armed gangsters stepped out wearing body armor beneath dark jackets. Hospital security assumed they were angry relatives until automatic rifles appeared beneath the coats. Panic erupted. Glass shattered as warning shots echoed across the lobby. Patients screamed. Doctors dropped behind reception desks. One gangster grabbed the hospital director by the collar and shouted, "We're looking for Maya Carter. Hand her over, and everyone else's lives." The emergency department froze. Every eye slowly turned toward the quiet rookie nurse standing beside a medication cart. Dr. Brooks stared at her in disbelief. "Maya, what did you do?" She looked toward the terrified patients huddled behind overturned stretchers, then back at the approaching gunmen. For the first time since arriving, her gentle smile disappeared. Her voice became cold, calm, and unmistakably commanding. "I was hoping they wouldn't find me here." The nearest gangster raised his rifle. Maya took one silent breath. Then she moved. The rifle cracked, but the bullet never reached its target. Maya seized the medication cart with explosive force, flipping its steel frame into the gunman's chest. The impact hurled him backward as syringes and bandages scattered across the polished floor. Before anyone understood what had happened, she drove a precise kick into another attacker's wrist, sending his weapon spinning across the lobby. Her movements were impossibly fast, disciplined, and efficient, nothing like the hesitant rookie everyone had mocked only hours before. "Get everyone into Trauma 3, she shouted. Her voice carried absolute authority. Nurses and doctors obeyed instinctively, even Dr. Brooks, who found himself guiding patients exactly where she ordered. Maya grabbed the fallen rifle, removed its magazine with practiced hands, and hurled the useless weapon away before another gangster lunged with a combat knife. He expected fear. Instead, he found someone who anticipated every strike before it happened. Within seconds, he was unconscious on the floor. The remaining attackers retreated behind overturned chairs, firing wildly toward the emergency department. Bullets tore through walls and shattered monitors. Maya pulled frightened patients into cover, shielding a little girl whose father had already been wounded. Despite the chaos, her breathing remained perfectly steady. Dr. Brooks crawled beside her. "Who are you?" he whispered. She hesitated. "My name is Maya Carter," she answered quietly. "I served with Naval Special Warfare as an elite combat operative before becoming a trauma nurse." His eyes widened. "That's impossible." "I know." A sharp explosion rocked the entrance as another vehicle smashed through the hospital doors. 3 more armed men rushed inside carrying military-grade equipment. Their leader smiled coldly when he spotted Maya. "There you are," he called. "Our employer has searched 3 countries for you." "You should have stopped looking," Maya replied. The gang leader laughed. You ruined a billion-dollar weapons network. Tonight we finish what we started. Several doctors stared in disbelief. The quiet woman they had dismissed was standing calmly in front of trained killers as though she had done it 100 times before. Because she had. Years earlier, Maya had led a covert operation that dismantled the syndicate's international smuggling route. The mission succeeded, but its ruthless commander escaped. Since then, he had hunted every operative involved. Maya disappeared, left military service, and chose a hospital where saving lives mattered more than taking them. She had hoped violence would never follow her. She had been wrong. The gang leader signaled his men, "Kill everyone who gets in the way." Gunfire erupted again. Maya spotted the hospital's emergency power controls behind the reception desk. Timing every movement, she sprinted through the barrage, slid across the floor, and slammed the master switch. Instantly, the main lights vanished. Emergency red lighting flooded the corridors, throwing long shadows across the hospital. The attackers hesitated. Maya didn't. Using darkness and confusion, she struck with surgical precision, disarming one man, incapacitating another, and trapping a third inside the radiology corridor. Every movement was controlled, calculated, and designed to protect innocent people. Outside, distant sirens grew louder. The gang leader heard them too. His confident smile disappeared. He realized too late that he had walked straight into the most dangerous person in the building, and Maya Carter had finally stopped running. The gang leader fired one desperate burst before diving behind the reception desk. Maya anticipated the move, circling silently through the dim corridor while frightened patients remained hidden inside the reinforced trauma room. Every heartbeat echoed through the emergency department. Every shadow concealed uncertainty. She reached the corner without making a sound. "You're surrounded," the gang leader shouted, trying to sound confident. "No," Maya answered. "You're trapped." He stepped out, firing again. Maya deflected the rifle with a sharp strike, drove her shoulder into his chest, and both crashed across the polished floor. They struggled for control of the weapon until she twisted it free and slid it out of reach. Enraged, he drew a concealed pistol, but before he could pull the trigger, Dr. Brooks hurled a metal oxygen cylinder across the hallway. The distraction gave Maya a split second. She disarmed him with one precise movement and pinned him to the ground. Outside, armored police officers stormed through the shattered entrance. Within moments, the remaining gangsters surrendered. The nightmare that had begun with panic ended in complete silence. Paramedics rushed inside to treat the wounded. Nurses emerged carefully from hiding. The little girl Maya had protected ran toward her and wrapped trembling arms around her waist. "Thank you," she whispered. Maya smiled gently. "You're safe now." As detectives secured the scene, a convoy of black military vehicles rolled into the hospital parking lot. Uniformed personnel stepped out with disciplined precision. Leading them was a decorated rear admiral whose chest carried decades of service ribbons. Every officer snapped to attention as Maya approached. The admiral saluted first. "It is an honor to see you again, Commander Carter." The entire emergency department froze. Dr. Brooks looked from the admiral to Maya, unable to believe what he had heard. "Commander." The admiral faced the stunned hospital staff. Years ago, she led one of the most dangerous special operations in modern naval special warfare. Her team rescued hostages, dismantled an international criminal network, and saved countless lives. She declined every medal ceremony because she believed the mission mattered more than recognition. Maya lowered her eyes. "I came here because hospitals need quiet heroes too." And no one laughed anymore. The charge nurse who had ordered her to stock shelves stepped forward with tears filling her eyes. "I'm sorry," she said. "We judged you without knowing anything about you." Maya shook her head. "You don't owe me an apology. Just remember that every person walking through these doors carries a story you cannot see." Those words settled over the emergency department more powerfully than the gunfire ever had. Weeks later, St. Gabriel Medical Center unveiled a small bronze plaque near the emergency entrance. It did not mention secret missions or elite military service. It simply read, "Courage is measured by the lives you choose to protect." Every new employee asked about the plaque. Every veteran nurse smiled before answering. It belongs to the rookie who reminded us that true strength never needs to announce itself. Maya continued working the night shift, wearing the same simple blue scrubs, greeting every patient with the same quiet kindness. Most people never recognized the woman who had once faced enemies across battlefields and later defended an entire hospital without hesitation. She preferred it that way, because the greatest heroes are often the ones nobody notices until the moment the world needs them most. If this story reminded you that courage, humility, and compassion can exist in the same heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more unforgettable stories where ordinary people reveal extraordinary greatness when it matters most.